Welcome to Ideas at Work and Beyond, and this is our live show. We haven't done this in a while. I just want to say thank you for watching the show, and great topic for comeback. Tonight we're going to be discussing breastfeeding, why breastfeeding, and breastfeeding in public, ? We have with us an expert. Her name is Tracy Lote. She's an expert. She's going to tell us all about breastfeeding, etc. And we have, it is an honor to also have Sasha Salem. She is a breastfeeding mother. We're going to have a great discussion, great conversation about the importance of breastfeeding because, as you know, people are talking about should mothers breastfeed in public. And we're also going to discuss that too. But I would like to welcome our guest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome, Sasha.
It's really exciting to be here, Ivan.
Yes. Breastfeeding. I don't even know why this is. Well, the fact that people are talking about breastfeeding in public, to me, that shouldn't even be a discussion. But before we get to that, we want to talk about why breastfeeding is important, etc. And let me just let you start.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, I would like to mention that it's important that we all know a little about breastfeeding. And what I'd like to do is start out with a little game.
Okay.
Okay? And now we're going to pretend that we're at Vegas now. Okay? Do you like to play cards?
Go ahead.
Okay. And we're going to shuffle these cards. They aren't marked. Okay, they're pretty good. Maybe you'd like to shuffle them yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to go right ahead and shuffle. Okay.
Okay. I think I'll go.
Wonderful.
There you go. You laughing, Sasha?
Okay. And Sasha, make sure that make sure you don't do anything wrong now. Okay. Now you can pick the winning card. Okay.
There you go.
Wonderful. Now don't tell me what it is.
Okay.
Okay. You can look at it. You can show Sasha and anybody else who you wish. Okay. And I'm going to conjure in. Let me feel that card. I'm not going to touch it, I'm just going to feel it. Yeah, I think I have that card. Do you think that I have that card here?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you that I do have this card. Your card there, Ivan. And can you just show it to me for a minute? And you have pulled out the Nine of Hearts, which is a wonderful card, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? I also have that card right here, too. I'll just show you there it is. It's the Nine of Hearts. Okay?
That's a good one. I like that.
Now, what I want to point out with breastfeeding is that we all have to prepare ourselves if we're going to breastfeed. Just like I had to prepare myself that I had your card here. Mm-hmm. You have to prepare yourself for the show this evening. You have to prepare yourself for buying a new car, for preparing whatever meal you're going to make for the next day, whether you're going to prepare for your vacation that you're going to go on or the next business trip. But you all have to prepare. And in order for us to be successful in breastfeeding, we also have to prepare for breastfeeding. So it's very important that we take a class, we ask questions, we find out all the information that we can about breastfeeding. It's very important that we prepare ourselves, okay? And we have to find out the facts, between the facts and the myths, okay? Like when we're going to buy a car, we want to find out all the wonderful whistles and bells that we're going to get on it, right? It's the same thing with breastfeed. We have to find out what's so important about breastfeeding. How is it going to benefit us, the mom, and how is it going to benefit the baby? Okay. So we want to make sure that we prepare for that by attending a class, go to a lactation consultant, or do your own reading. What's really a good idea is to make sure that you ask around with all your friends and relatives and find out who has breastfed. You want to get their input. Mm-hmm. Okay? Wonderful.
Now, what is breastfeeding? That's the first question.
Okay. breastfeeding is having the transfer of mom's milk to the baby. And you want to make sure the maximum amount of milk is transformed from the mom to the baby. You also want to make sure that the baby's latching on properly, and that the baby is getting the satiety value that it needs and all the nutrients for breastfeeding.
How do you ensure that the baby's latching on?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. When the baby needs to latch on, it's almost like biting into an apple wide. So you have to make sure that the head is back. When the head is back, the mouth is going to open up wide. For a bottle, the baby just opens up a little, okay? And for breastfeeding, you have to make sure the head goes back so the baby can open up wide and latch on properly.
Okay. Well, I know that Sasha is a mom, and you are currently breastfeeding, right? Well, tell us a little bit about you breastfeeding your son right now.
I don't know what there is much to say about me breastfeeding my son. It's a very time-consuming job because I'm his only source of, other than solids, I'm pretty much his only source of food. And it's very hard to keep up with his demands because he is a big boy and he's 22 pounds and he does eat quite often. But one of the biggest challenges is that I am the only person that can give him the nutrients that he needs, and therefore I have to constantly be there for him. So it's time consuming. It's not like a bottle fed where you can go shopping or you can leave and do other things, and you can therefore have someone else give him the food that he needs. So because of that, I've never actually introduced a bottle to my son, and so he uses me as his main source of food, and so in that sense, it's very hard to keep up with, the demands of being his only source. But I did it with my daughter for 15 months, and I didn't really think of that as a big deal, but other people, seem surprised when you say that, because it's not something that's typically done, so.
And it's wonderful that you know that breast milk is the golden standard.
Right.
And it's the best thing. It has all the perfect nutrients for the babe. And it's nice that you realize this and that you allow yourself to be dependent, the baby to be dependent on you. And you know that what you're giving your babe is the most beautiful gift that anybody can possibly give to the child.
It's a great bond. I think it is a great bond to be able to provide someone with everything that they need, and to know that your body can do that. But it also, like I said, we're attached to each other in that sense, because I feel guilty if I'm away from him because I know he doesn't use a bottle. So, I think sometimes it's a lot of guilt because you don't want to be away too long, and you know that someone's depending on you for all their needs. And when you breastfeed, it goes beyond just the general requirements. It's a 24-hour job, and that was one of the things that we had to discuss prior to the show starting. Is I have a difficult time preventing my son from feeding through the night. He's nursing, through the night, which at this age is not a necessary thing, but I can't stop him from doing it. So I don't know if other mothers have the same problem.
It depends with you whether you feel comfortable with it or not. I know everybody has their own ideas on it. If the baby wants to nurse and if the mom wants to continue to nurse, there's no reason why not. Now, another thing that you could do rather than having the baby sleep in bed with you, if you have the baby's crib or the bassinet, or you can just bring it a little bit closer to your bed and have it right attached to your bed, so you don't even have to get up out of bed. And then after the breastfeeding session is over with, you just place the baby back in the baby's bed, if you wish. And you don't even have to get up out of bed. And
so you promote breastfeeding as needed throughout the night?
If that's what the babe needs, I feel that the baby should get it.
That's a lot of waking up.
It is. It's a lot of waking up. But, you know, it really depends on the mom and the babe. You see, you're getting up out of bed and going into the other room. If you bring the baby's bed close to your bed, the baby can smell you when the baby wants you, and you can nurse. Yeah. And it just puts you right back to sleep. But by getting up out of bed and going into the other room, that's going to wake you up.
Right.
But she still has to wake up to feed the baby anyway, right?
Yes, but when you breastfeed, it makes you go back to sleep because of the hormones that make you go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, sorry. So, is it she has to feed the baby all night and all day? So when will the mother have time to rest?
Okay, another thing that the mom could do is try to wean the baby from the evening sessions if she wishes. And one way of doing it is going away for a few nights, Mom.
And letting someone else.
If you aren't there, the baby's not going to want you.
Yeah, that's hard.
It really is hard. Because at this age, they're very dependent.
For me,
I
get to do that like my mom or something. So I hope she's watching and listening.
And your husband would be very happy.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to wake him up every 2 hours at night.
Oh, and my husband is waking up every 2 hours at night. That was a joke.
Uh-oh. Okay, let me first say this, that we are live, 792-4101, 792-4101. If any pregnant women out there or moms currently breastfeeding, you want to call, please call, and the expert here is willing to answer all your questions. Okay, why is breastfeeding so important? Because in America, I guess there's a decline in breastfeeding, but in third world countries, developing countries, there are more people breastfeeding, etc. Explain to me why that America doesn't see it as important as the developing countries, and why is it so important to breastfeed a kid when you have all these formulas out there that can take the place of breastfeeding?
In the overseas and in Europe and in the underdeveloped countries, it's a necessity. They need to breastfeed, you know, and it's the best thing for the baby. Now, in America, we have a lot of the manufacturers with the formula that's making it more difficult. And that is a big barrier, you know, for the moms and for everyone here that wish to breastfeed. But now that we're pushing breastfeeding, we want to make everybody aware, the community aware. We want everybody to do their part so that they can help promoting breastfeeding.
I think it's convenient, too. I mean, it's very convenient to travel with a bottle and, you know, to not have to expose yourself, you know, in a public setting. And I think it's also just a matter of, I find breastfeeding to be more convenient because I don't have to worry about those things, but there are some people that find it more convenient to have a bottle and also to have someone else be able to feed their baby and to not be, you know, attached that way. So I think, and it's easier. Breastfeeding is very hard. I think it's a hard job. I mean, that's my...
Why is it hard?
It's
Because all you do is take the baby, give the baby the breast, and they eat. I mean, how hard is that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what I see. As I said, I'm not a woman, but that's what I see. So please tell me.
It seems very straightforward, but it's not very straightforward. I mean, first of all, the first few weeks, or I don't even know, for me, a few months, it was really hard because you're sore. I mean, someone constantly sucking on your skin. I mean, you know, like if you're exposed to moisture, it's chafed, it's drying, it's painful. And as they develop teeth, if you breastfeed that long, there's the issue of biting, which is, I mean...
Now, let's go to the soreness.
I won't compare the likeness of your body to my breast area, but there is a part of your body that has the same sensitive skin, and can you imagine someone biting in that area? It's not. It's painful, so...
And it's not supposed to hurt, and it shouldn't be painful.
Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the soreness, the painful, and the biting.
And when the baby latches on, the baby shouldn't just latch onto the nipple. The baby should latch onto everything.
Okay, we have a phone call. Can we take that phone call?
Okay, sure. Okay.
Caller, you're in the air.
Hi, my name's Barbara. How are you tonight?
Hi, Barbara.
And you?
Good, very good. I just turned on your show quickly here about breastfeeding, and I didn't see too much of it, but I'm a very strong advocate for breastfeeding.
Oh, yay. I'm glad you called.
I breastfed 3 children. I just stopped with my third after I breastfed her for a little over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally decided that was enough. She was potty trained now, and she could, come up to me and do it on her own. But I love seeing a strong, powerful woman out in public nursing. I think it's a wonderful, beautiful thing.
And I agree wholeheartedly with you. And I think since it is a law in Connecticut for moms to breastfeed publicly, it's very important that everybody give the mom support. By this, I mean that everybody should be talking more about breastfeeding in public. By doing this, everybody talking more about it, it makes the community more aware and more literate to the breastfeeding that is going on, and we need the support. And without talking about it and sharing our knowledge and the literacy regarding it, this is not going to make it easier and to make people more aware of what's normal. This is the norm.
But it is normal. I don't think that should be an issue. It is normal to breastfeed. Right, caller?
Absolutely. I think it's a beautiful, amazing thing. And I wanted to say my oldest son is almost 8 years old. I breastfed him for a little over a year. And when I first started nursing him, I remember I was in a mall, and I got a lot of looks from women and men. And I actually had one woman in a store, I'm not going to say what store, but a store in the mall, tell me that I should actually breastfeed in the bathroom. And I actually said to the woman, do you eat in the bathroom? And she gave me a nice look. But I was just at the mall again this weekend, and I seen a woman nursing a baby, and I miss that so much. I miss nursing a baby. I just think it's wonderful. I think it's the best thing in the world. And your lady there who is, I believe, breastfeeding a baby, now she was saying about the soreness.
Right.
I don't know how many children she has because, like I said, I just turned on to the show. But my first child, I was very sore with him. Second, third, I don't even feel it anymore.
Yeah, and you just lose all feeling in that area. I hear you.
But I just think advocate for breastfeeding and let those women know that it's okay and it's acceptable.
And Barb, you know what I'd like all of us out there, whenever we see any mom breastfeeding in public, I think we should walk by, give her a wonderful smile, the thumbs up, and say, way to go.
Absolutely.
What I think we all should do. The whole community's got to do this. Especially the medical community. They need to help us and give us the support to let everybody know that breastfeeding in public is normal and it has got to be done.
Okay.
Instead of
Rather
trying
than
to,
a crying baby.
yeah, instead of trying to avoid eye contact and looking uncomfortable, that just makes the woman feel more uncomfortable. So I think that that's one of the things that makes me cringe when I have to do it in public.
So also mention about the sore nipples. There really should be no reason for any mom to have any sore nipples. They may have sore nipples after they breastfeed if they don't let the nipples air dry.
Oh, really?
Number one. Number two, if they aren't latching everything on, if they aren't latching everything into the mouth, that's why they aren't going to have, it's going to be a sore nipple. If the baby's just latching onto the nipple, there's no milk there. Then they've got to latch onto everything in the mouth.
But you also have to train the baby. So
Right.
if it's not latching properly, you got to take it out and do it again.
Reposition the baby.
Okay.
Also, if you allow the baby to cry and then finally put the baby on the breast, what happens is the baby sucks so hard? Of course, that's what happens.
That's what.
So you have to look for the feeding cues.
Yeah, I found that my
Hold
son.
on for a second. Carla, do you have any more questions?
No, I just wanted to say, women, go out there and nurse and nurse and nurse, because you'll miss it when it's done. I'm well aware of that. So enjoy it while you can.
Well, thank you, Barb.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's talk about the proper way to avoid soreness. You
Okay.
talking about that?
Well, we want to make sure that the baby latches on properly. We have a little picture.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We have a picture to show that. Okay.
We have a picture. When the baby latches on, the baby.
We had a picture of that. Yes.
The baby needs to latch everything into the mouth. Everything into the mouth. From the nipple, the top of the nipple to the bottom. Here. I'm going to do a little example. And that's a wonderful picture. This is a picture of a babe who's newly born. And you can see that there's little flange of the lips, about 160 degrees. The chin and the nose are touching the breast. And you can see that that is a wonderful latch for especially a newborn. And I want to tell you, see the baby looking at the eyes of the mom, looking up at the mom? That's a beautiful sign. That means that the baby is receiving milk whenever the babe looks at the mom.
Okay. Good. Okay, and we have a next picture, right? We're talking about the latching right here. This one here. Okay.
Okay.
We also have that.
So with this picture, it's the same thing. If the baby just latches onto the nipple, what happens is that the baby doesn't get any milk. So what does the baby do? Suck harder and harder. Doesn't get any milk. Gets fussy, and the mom ends up with a sore, cracked, bleeding nipple. The milk is in the gland, and the gland is back here.
Okay. And we're looking at it from the left, the left picture, okay, on the screen. Okay.
Right. So you want to make sure the baby latches everything into the mouth.
So,
Now what happens is that the nipple has got to go in the upper part of the mouth and the baby latches on. Well, this is what you can do. You want to bring the nipple to the baby's nose so the baby can smell the milk. And then what happens is that you want to bring the baby back about 1.5 inches to 2 inches back. And then the baby can throw the head back so that the nipple is in the right position. It's in the upper part of towards the roof of the mouth. And then the mom has got to bring the baby quick but gentle with that mouth open to form a vacuum. If the mom doesn't feel a vacuum, the baby didn't latch on right. So then the mom has got to take the baby off the breast and start all over again. When you take the baby off the breast, you want to make sure you put your little pinky into the baby's corner of the mouth to let the baby release. And then you can start all over again.
do you think that the nurses in the hospitals are well trained enough to train the new moms how to breastfeed properly?
Well, there's a difference between the nurses and the lactation consultants.
Okay.
The IBCLC, the lactation consultants, they know what has got to be instructed. I think a lot of the nurses mean well. Maybe sometimes they're trained, sometimes they aren't. I know in Westchester County we have a terrible time with not with the IBCLC, but the nurses, because they are not sharing the correct information, so we're having some problems.
I also heard that there is a movement, I believe in Boston somewhere, where they are trying to, what they're trying to do is trying to get the hospital not to introduce formulas to the moms in the hospital. They will give you these little samples, etc., and they will tell you about like the formulas. They try to tell the nurses not to do that.
Well, not to issue out the formulas.
Right, and not to tell them about the formulas so that they can encourage
more breastfeeding.
More breastfeeding.
And that's great. And maybe it was a baby-friendly hospital. It could have been.
You know what? Talk about that. I went to a website, and they list 2 baby-friendly hospitals in Connecticut.
Right.
Middlesex Hospital and Hartford Hospital. What does it mean, baby-friendly hospitals? I thought all hospitals were supposed to be baby-friendly.
Well, not necessarily. There's I don't know if I can remember all the 10 rules and regulations that they have to go by. Let's see. I know that they have to train all staff regarding breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
They have to give a session to all the moms on breastfeeding. They have to make sure that the mom receives the baby within the first hour after delivery to latch on. The mom needs help for latching on and needs assistance right then and there. There's no bottles or pacifiers that are issued to the babes. Again, the mom needs to have a lot of reassurance and training on breastfeeding and making sure that the baby and the mom knows how to breastfeed. And make sure there's no problems. And then I think there's a few others I can't remember at the tip of my tongue, but I know that before the mom is discharged, that the mom has got to be informed about a peer counseling group, so it would be the Leche League or, with peer counseling or whatever, to help them follow through on it. And of course the LC there at the hospital, they will follow through and make phone calls and,
But don't you think that, was it Lamaze class? That should be one of the components?
Well, generally, most of the hospitals do have a Lamaze class.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Westchester at St. John's Hospital, I give the breastfeeding class in conjunction. I don't do the 3 classes for child care and childbirth, but I do the 4th session there, and that's on breastfeeding in Westchester County, St. John's Hospital.
Okay.
And,
let's go back to the lady who called. She's encouraging moms to breastfeed in public.
Okay.
I have a breastfeeding legislation update that Connecticut passed, introduced a bill regarding breastfeeding. Now, there is a law that if your employer trying to stop you from breastfeeding, you can take them to court or do something to them.
mm-hmm.
You can sue them or something. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, all I know is that the Public Act is 1-182,
Mm-hmm.
and what it says is that the law requires employers to provide a reasonable time each day to an employee who needs to express breast milk for her infant child, and provide accommodations where an employee can express her milk in privacy. Now, I want to tell you that there's only 13 other states that allow this, that require, even in New York State, there's
Out of the 50?
out of the 50, there's only 13.
Talk about anti-women all over.
That's right.
You know what?
But it's, it's not only a civil rights issue, but it's also a health issue.
That's true. Talk about health issues.
We're talking about health.
But the problem is, we have a couple. I'm going to say this real quick. The problem is, they're allowing smokers to go outside and smoke, but they have a problem with breastfeeding.
I know.
Wow. Okay. Call your name.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good,
I
thank
just
you.
turned on your show and very much am enjoying it, and just wanted to give you a few words of encouragement. And it's been many, many years now since I've breastfed, but I successfully breastfed my twins for 13 months.
Wow,
and,
way to go.
We had no difficulty whatsoever. And the one thing that I had a lot of support from my mother, who had support from my grandmother, and the one thing that they both told me that I think is important for the moms to know is that a hormone is released by the mother into the mother's system and into the baby then through the milk that has a wonderful, peaceful, calming effect on both the mother and the baby.
That's wonderful. And you know what it's called? It's called the cholecystokinin.
Okay.
And it's a hormone that's
Very good.
released.
Well, it worked perfectly.
It does.
And both my baby girls, once they were a little bit more aware, they would know what was going on, and I would breastfeed them together simultaneously, and it was just a wonderful experience for everybody. Much easier than all those bottles, let me tell you.
Yeah, I agree totally. Now, this hormone is released not only in the gut of the mom, but of the baby as well. And this gives you the sedation, relaxation, the unwinding feeling, and it's really beautiful.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that.
You're quite welcome.
I think that was the hormone I was looking for before, and it didn't come out. Now it came out. So thank you for reminding me.
Thank you.
Well, it's just a very good experience for moms and babies, and I encourage us, especially if you find out you're having twins, it is doable, and it's much, much easier, I think, than worrying about, sterilizing and bottles and all those things that you have to do. As I say, it's been many years. My daughters are now 31, but I successfully did it, and it was wonderful, and did it in public, and nobody seems too upset back then. I don't know. It was a good thing for all of us. So.
Now, I have one question to ask you. Did you breastfeed them simultaneously?
Yes, I did. Once they were aware of what was going on,
I did try
to give them each a little time, so that they would have one-on-one with Mom. But once they figured out that one sister was having her feeding time, the other one would immediately want to come over. This is when they were able to crawl and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So once they got old enough and were aware of what was going on, they were always there together. And they each had their favorite side as well.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's so wonderful. A beautiful story.
It's a nice show you have on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a question about, with regard to what the caller just said about convenience. I know a lot of moms pump, and I never did that, and I found that there was a short window of time that, your baby will be accepting of a bottle, and then once you try to introduce it later on, it doesn't. My son, he refuses to take a bottle. So is that true, or is it just a matter of preference, or?
There's a few things that you can do to get the baby on the breast if this is what you want.
Well, like if you wanted the convenience or opportunity to leave and have someone else nurse, or like your husband to nurse in the night if you wanted to sleep, for example, I found that it was very hard for us to introduce it because we kind of missed that opportunity for him to take a bottle because I exclusively breastfed and never actually pumped.
If you weren't around,
he would have to.
He would have to, and he would take it.
He's never.
Now the thing is, like if you put it in what you could do, you could even wrap some of your clothing or whatever on a bottle, and you not be there, but Dad would give the bottle to the. But I mean, the child should be on a sippy cup now.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah. So you could put the breast milk in the sippy cup.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't really
He doesn't take. It could just be him. I mean, I don't know, but both my kids were that way. They never really took breast milk any other way but from me. So I didn't know if it was, typical or just my kids.
Well, it varies since you haven't introduced it.
Right.
That's why they're only accustomed to this.
Right.
Is it okay to just let him starve and maybe he'll take it once he's hungry? I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel. But...
Well, I don't think you want to do that.
Okay.
But, someone else could do it. The thing is that Mom would have to leave.
Okay.
And then Dad would have to do it. And then Dad would do it, and the baby will accept it. Because Mom's not there.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do. You have to leave.
Well, I have. I've gone places and left bottles and called home to see how things are going, and they're not. They just don't eat, which is very stressful, obviously. So I cut my events short and rush home to nurse. But I just think that, I've been told it's because I missed that opportunity to introduce a bottle whenever you're supposed to do it and continue keeping up with it on a regular basis. I mean, I do initially, and then I slack off and don't do it, and as a result they have never really taken to a bottle. So I didn't know if that was just typical of my kids, like I said.
It's normal for them not to want a bottle if they've had this, but it would be easier for them to take it from a cup.
Okay. So try other means of other than the bottle, like a cup or
maybe even a straw, if they could do a straw.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's change the subject a little bit.
Okay, sure.
If adults can drink cow milk, why can't adults drink breast milk?
Good question.
Is that a good question? Move over, my turn.
Okay. Well, all I can say is, do we have any moms that are in line to express, and provide it for everybody? You have to start a manufacturing of moms, other than a manufacturing of...
Hey, but okay, you know where I'm going with this question. If the milk is beneficial for the child, why can it be beneficial for us? Because they have all these good hormones and all these things in there that would help to build the immune system of the child. And what about if we're getting weaker as an adult? Can we drink the breast milk to make us stronger? I just want to know.
Sure, I don't see why not. I know even in China, I think I've seen art pictures where the grandma was so ill that she was nursing nursing her daughter. I mean, you see it all over. You see it all over the place.
Right.
Now, in some of the cultures. However, what I do want to mention is that because the breast milk has all the special properties, all the immunoglobulins and the antigens, they're doing so much research now on it that one of the proteins in breast milk is the alpha lactalbumin, and they have done a test with that in a test tube where they have placed cancer cells in with it, and it has eaten and destroyed the cancer cells.
You serious?
No, I'm serious.
Okay. They take the cancer,
the cells,
the cell of cancer,
and they put it in the test tube with the alpha.
With the alpha that you can only get from the breast milk. It is eating the cancer away. Moms, here I come. Oh boy. So can they? Oh, this is great. Right now we no longer gonna need those pharmaceutical companies. Wow. And the thing about women is, as long as the kid keeps eating, they'll produce the milk, right?
In fact, WHO, the World Health Organization, and UNICEF, they want everybody to hear this now, okay? Because they are recommending that the moms exclusively breastfeed for 6 months. Exclusively. No bobo, no bottle, no formula, nothing. However, WHO and UNICEF want all the moms to continue to breastfeed through 2 years and beyond.
And beyond.
And beyond. Now, Michael Jordan, are you a good fan of his?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
You know how long he's been breastfed for?
How long?
3 years.
Ooh. Wow.
He made it above and beyond WHO and UNICEF recommendation.
So let's go back to this cancer thing.
Okay.
Are they doing anything about that to try to get this alpha? But can adults drink the milk? Will it have the same effect?
They're doing more tests and more research on that.
Because I'm curious.
Especially for those people that have cancer. You know,
Right.
they can drink it. They can get the milk from the milk banks. And what are we doing over in Africa? Jill Hughes, that's what she's doing.
So
She's the executive director for the International Milk Bank Project, and she is trying to get all moms to express their milk and to donate it to the International Breast Milk Project Bank.
And how long
it's
can
wonderful.
it last? How long can your breast milk last?
Well, it depends on whether you're going to do it for the donation or for if you're going to breastfeed your own, if you're going to save your milk for your own babe.
Okay.
Generally, you can leave it out room temperature for 4 hours, maybe a couple more, no more than 6 hours. Then you can refrigerate it for 3 days. You can freeze it for 3 months. If you have a deep freezer that's below 0 degrees, then you can have it forever, like for at least a year. So you'll always have your milk for the babe.
And that the reason they're asking for donations is because you had said mothers are HIV positive.
For the HIV.
Well, I hope that I hope someone is watching this. If you have connection to George Bush, to tell him to put some money on this research, because I think that's a good idea for adults to drink breast milk, especially if it can kill cancer. If it can kill cancer,
It's wonderful.
How long can a woman produce milk for? Like for how many years?
As long as she stops, when she stops breastfeeding.
I mean, up until 40, 30 years old.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She'll always lactate, whatever she lactates. But can we just go back a step a minute for with Jill?
Okay.
Now on my website, I'm selling some magnetic signs.
Oh, we can't
and these
say
are for cars.
We can't say sell.
Okay.
If they need more information about it, they can go to the website and try to get
proceeds are going to Jill Hughes for her International Breast Milk Bank Project. Okay.
Good. Sasha, you have any questions?
I think I covered all of my questions.
Okay. Well, what we're gonna do? We haven't taken a break yet. We're gonna take a short break.
Okay.
We're gonna introduce show the news, and then after that, we're gonna come back and finish the show.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.